Welcome to the world of automotive engineering, where brilliant minds create solutions to problems nobody really had. Today, we're counting down the 10 most over-engineered cars ever made. And trust me, some of these will make you wonder what they were smoking in those design meetings. If you enjoy learning about automotive insanity, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Music number 10, BMW Z1. In 1989, BMW decided that regular car doors were just too boring. So, they created the Z1, a roadster with doors that didn't swing open or slide. They dropped straight down into the body. Yes, you read that right. The doors literally disappeared into the sills like something out of a sci-fi movie. It was incredible to watch. It was also incredibly pointless. The mechanism involved 13 separate electric motors just for the doors. 13, for comparison, most cars use one motor for all 4 windows combined. But wait, it gets better. The entire body was made of thermoplastic panels that you could supposedly change like clothes. BMW even claimed you could remove and replace body panels in 40 minutes. In reality, good luck finding anyone who actually did that. The Z1's party trick was that you could drive with the doors down, feeling the wind rush by your ankles at 70 by weight. Practical? Absolutely not. But BMW didn't stop there. They gave it a multi-link rear suspension so advanced that they later used it in the 3 Series. They engineered a completely flat underbody for better aerodynamics on a car that most people drove with the doors down, completely destroying said aerodynamics. The whole project was essentially BMW's engineering department showing off. They built exactly 8,000 of them between 1989 and 1991, and each one cost as much as a well-equipped 5 Series. Today, those dropping doors still work on most surviving examples, which is honestly surprising given how unnecessarily complex they were. The Z1 proved that sometimes the most interesting cars are the ones that solve problems nobody actually had. Want to get into your car? Just press a button and wait for the door to slowly sink into the ground. It's like BMW asked themselves, how can we make entering a vehicle as dramatic and time-consuming as possible? And then they nailed it. Number 9, Volkswagen FE-Ton. Volkswagen's FE-Ton might be the most ambitious failure in automotive history. In 2002, VW decided they needed to build a luxury sedan that could compete with Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series. The result, a Volkswagen that cost $100,000 and had more technology than a space shuttle. Ferdinand Peck, VW's CEO at the time, personally set the requirements. The car had to maintain 186 miles per hour all day in 120 degrees heat. The interior couldn't exceed 72 degrees Fahrenheit in the desert sun. It needed to be so quiet that you could have a conversation at 186 miles per hour without raising your voice. These weren't suggestions, these were mandates. To meet these insane requirements, VW went completely overboard. The FE-Ton had a 4-zone climate control system with 18 motors just for air distribution. The draft-free ventilation system used aerospace technology. They installed double-glazed acoustic glass that was so heavy it needed special reinforced door hinges. The air suspension had more sensors than most cars had total electronic components. But here's where it gets truly ridiculous. VW built an entirely new factory just for the FE-Ton, not a production line. An entire glass palace in Dresden called the Transparent Factory. Customers could watch their car being built by workers in white coats like it was a Swiss watch. The factory had maple floors in a car factory. The FE-Ton's trunk lid had soft close motors that pulled it shut gently. The seats had 18-way adjustment with ventilation, massage, and heating. The wood trim came from a 100-year-old tree. They even developed special tires that stayed round when parked to prevent flat spots. Despite all this engineering madness, nobody wanted to pay 6 figures for a Volkswagen. They sold fewer than 1,000 per year in the US before giving up. The FE-Ton proved that you can over-engineer a car to perfection, but you can't engineer away badge snobbery. VW spent billions developing a car that was objectively better than its rivals in many ways. It just had the wrong badge on the hood. Number 8. Citroën SM. The Citroën SM is what happens when French engineers drink too much wine and decide to reinvent everything about cars. Launched in 1970, the SM was supposed to be Citroën's grand touring masterpiece. Instead, it became a rolling laboratory of solutions to problems that didn't exist. Let's start with the engine. Citroën didn't have anything suitable, so they bought Maserati and had them create a V6. But not just any V6. This one had 3 carburetors and timing chains that needed adjustment every 3,000 miles. Here's the 350-word section for the educational script. From BMW's door drama to Volkswagen's FE-ton, today we'll explore 2 more cars that took over engineering to new heights. Let's take a closer look at Volkswagen's FE-ton, a luxury sedan that cost $100,000 and had more technology than a space shuttle. The FE-ton CEO, Ferdinand Piëch, wanted a car that would maintain 186 miles per hour in 120 degrees heat and be so quiet that you could have a conversation at 186 miles per hour without raising your voice. To meet these insane requirements, VW went completely overboard. The FE-ton had a 4-zone climate control system with 18 motors just for air distribution. The draft-free ventilation system used aerospace technology, and they installed double-glazed acoustic glass that was so heavy it needed special reinforced door hinges. But it gets even more ridiculous. VW built an entirely new factory just for the FE-ton, not a production line. An entire glass palace in Dresden called the Transparent Factory. Customers could watch their car being built by workers in white coats like it was a Swiss watch. The factory had maple floors in a car factory. The Phaeton's trunk lid had soft close motors that pulled it shut gently, and the seats had 18-way adjustment with ventilation, massage, and heating. The wood trim came from 100-year-old trees, and they even developed special tires that stayed round when parked to prevent flat spots. Despite all this engineering madness, nobody wanted to pay 6 figures for a Volkswagen. They sold fewer than 1,000 per year in the US before giving up. The Phaeton proved that you can over-engineer a car to perfection, but you can't engineer away badge snobbery. Let's contrast this with the BMW Z1, a roadster that took over engineering to new heights with its drop-in doors. While the Z1 was certainly impractical, it still had some clever engineering solutions. The Phaeton, on the other hand, was a monument to excess. It's a reminder that sometimes, too much is just too much. The FE-ton story is a cautionary tale of what happens when engineers get carried away with their ideas. It's a reminder that even the most advanced technology can't compensate for a lack of common sense. And it's a testament to the power of badge snobbery, where people will pay a premium for a luxury brand, no matter how ridiculous the car may be. As we continue our countdown of the 10 most over-engineered cars, we'll see more examples of this phenomenon. Here is the detailed 233-word section for the educational script. But have you ever wondered what happens when French engineers get a little too creative? We'll find out with the Citroën SM, a car that's a true marvel of over-engineering. The SM was supposed to be a grand touring masterpiece, but it became a rolling laboratory of solutions to problems that didn't exist. Let's take a closer look at the steering system, which was so advanced that it felt completely alien. The steering wheel only turned 2 turns lock to lock, and sneezing could put you in the next lane. It was as if the engineers were trying to create a car that was more like a spaceship than a road vehicle. The SM's suspension was also a work of art, using a hydraulic system that could raise and lower the car, self-level under any load, and provide a magic carpet ride. Sounds great until you realize the system operated at 2,500 psi, higher than most industrial equipment. One tiny leak and you'd find your SM sitting on its bump stops. But the real kicker was the engine, a V6 with 3 carburetors and timing chains that needed adjustment every 3,000 miles. It was a masterpiece of complexity, and a testament to the ingenuity of French engineers. The SM remains proof that sometimes being too clever is worse than not being clever enough. Let's discuss the Mercedes-Benz W123 S-Class, a billion-dollar failure. You might be wondering, What drove Mercedes to create a car that was so over-engineered it nearly bankrupted the company? Was it a desire to be the most luxurious car on the market? Or perhaps a need to outdo their German rivals? The truth is, it was a combination of both. Mercedes spent an estimated $1 billion in the 1980s, a staggering amount of money at the time, to develop the W140 S-Class. They tested prototypes for 10 million miles, pushing the car to its limits in every possible way. The result was a car that was not only incredibly luxurious but also incredibly complex. One of the most impressive, and expensive, features of the W140 was its double wishbone front suspension. This innovative design allowed for unparalleled handling and ride quality, but it also added significant complexity to the car's systems. In fact, mechanics needed special diagnostic equipment just to talk to the car, and the wiring harness weighed over 100 pounds. Despite its many flaws, the W140 remains an interesting footnote in automotive history. It's a reminder that even the most experienced engineers can get carried away with their designs, and that sometimes the most expensive solutions aren't the best ones.